Good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show, brought to you by the folks at Omni True Value Hardware, Long Island's largest rock salt source, and they had everything you could possibly need to clean up after the winter storm of a couple of days ago. And guess what? They'll have everything you need to clear up for the next winter storm that may be coming on Sunday. And in the mid-Atlantic states, it may be coming up later in the day on Saturday into Saturday night. So they've got all the snow melt products you need, shovels, snow blowers. So if it broke from the last storm, and it may have, you got the you can get some new stuff at Omni True Value Hardware, 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, 631-756-1125 for the best prices in town. And they remember, folks, that while the winter storms are going, they'll be having special hours. So that includes opening up very, very early in the morning to accommodate your needs. So I thought of you today because I figured that this was I was gonna try to get a special guest on, but Gomer Pyle couldn't make it.
Oh, oh,
But I thought of you
yeah.
this morning. I am so happy that last night when we were talking about this, that I said I would wait one more day before I threw in the towel. And when I got up this morning, I started looking. I got up early. I got up at 5, and I started looking at stuff, and I started seeing things. I thought this is not going to go away. And then sure enough, the ball got rolling with the NAM model this afternoon, this morning, and then the follow-up one this afternoon, and all the other models in between, all going in that direction, Joe. That we're going to have some accumulating snow running up, not just here, but through the Mid-Atlantic states and even in parts of the interior South Atlantic states. Going to get some snow out of this, I think.
Yes, and the only the European has certainly brought the storm closer than it did yesterday. Yesterday, the European has not exactly been consistent. It had it hitting us hard
I the
early in
word
the
you're
week.
the word you're looking for is bad. But go on.
Yeah,
It's
well,
been bad.
it's
The word is
it
bad.
had us hit it was hitting us hard early in the week. It took it away. Now this afternoon's run has the lion's share of the heavy precip across central New Jersey, touching maybe portions of eastern Long Island. Up where I am, we get something, but it's not a whole heck of a lot.
Right.
But who's to say that in the next couple of days the European says, "Hey, let's push it back where we had it earlier in the week." It's been very very
Yeah, I
consistent.
thought uh, when I from the European last night, and then I looked at the 6Z European, and I saw that it actually on the last night's had nothing. The 6Z started bringing precip back, and then the 12Z took a sort of a big leap northwestward, but still not quite as far as as say the parallel GFS, which by the way, uh, for the folks who look at these things and look at the verification scores of the models have determined that the parallel GFS has been vastly outperforming the European in the last month. So if there's anything left on the idea that the European is flawless, uh, I think that notion is gone now. And also, we have the very good perform. You're going to love this. What I'm about to tell you. So we have what I have thought was an absolutely spectacular performance by the NAM with this first storm, and of course the NAM is leading the way again. We're getting in range, and guess what I found out today?
That the NAM is now the number one model.
No,
What?
no, that they are planning to get rid of it next year.
No! No! You
Yes,
they can't.
yes,
And this is from the
they
guy who
can.
this is the guy this is coming from the guy who said back in 2016 before the biggest snowstorm in New York history, well, get rid of that stupid model. I said they call for 25 inches of snow.
I
All the
didn't
others went
say
over.
that. I
I
never
said it.
said it. Oh, yeah,
I said it.
okay.
I said it. And now they're going to take it away. Joe, we
Yeah.
have to we have to get some
Well,
kind of petition
Bill
going.
Bill Goodman said because I was complaining the other night about the radar and about the not having the EPO available anymore. So I asked him about it, and he confirmed. He confirmed it, and he suggested we forget about the radar and the EPO for a while, for now, and focus on the NAM. So yeah, we look, Weather Service folks, we love you to death. Totally support what you're doing. We don't like the radar, but we can live with it. All right. We don't have the EPO charts anymore from the climate site. I can figure it out myself. But do not get rid of the NAM. Okay, just don't. I know it works. I mean,
And
not all the
did you see?
time, but I understand it. Do not get rid of it. Okay.
Did you see on the NAM this afternoon? The 12Z run, the FGen. It looks like a carbon copy of what we just went through
Well,
on Monday.
and I didn't look at the 18Z FGen, but we can look at it together because since the NAM basically doubled amounts on the on the 18Z, which were already way up on the 12. I imagine that the FGen
Oh
is off the
God!
wall. What's the matter?
I'm getting my first look at the 18Z FGen.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
no, it's off the wall. Now look,
oh, oh.
before we're we're
Remember that Bugs Bunny cartoon where the magician, Alabama, I think,
yes, yes.
and there's that one part where he gets dressed up like the little Lord Fauntleroy and goes into the straw bag, and he starts sticking the knives in the sharp and Bugs is going, oh, oh, agony, agony, agony. Well, I'm looking at this FGen on the 18Z NAM, and all I could say is, oh, agony, agony.
No,
after
exactly.
after what we've just been through, I can't go through another one of these, Joe.
No, I listen. I hear you. It is it is almost hard to believe, and the chairman pointed out last night. Now, this is not necessarily true for the entire area here, but uh, there's 2009 and 2010. One of the standout 2009 2010 winter. One of the standouts of that particular winter is the fact that the there were three snowstorms that produced 10 inches or more in New York, as measured in New York City, which is the only time that's actually happened in one season where they've gotten 10 inches or more three times. So we've already done it twice. So if we do wind up with something of size come Sunday, and it's 10 inches or more, this would be only the second time that's happened. That's happened on Long Island a few times. It's not as unusual as you move away from New York City because in the city area there's some weird stuff that goes on there. But it is it. Who would have thought that we were actually going to be staring this down uh, after already having two big ones this year, and now maybe here comes the third. But we'll see. I honestly do believe, Joe, one thing, without letting this get too out of hand. I don't think. I mean, I can't imagine it's going to be anything like what we had. There's just not enough time. This is going to be an 8 to 10 hour event from start to finish. Comes in before daybreak, out before sunset, and that should limit it. I mean, unless we get some sort of weird bans again, that should limit it. So I've
We had
actually got an early call that I'll pull up later. But go on. I'm sorry.
you're absolutely right. This is a more progressive system, and yes, everything is moving quicker. So we should only get half as much as what we just. So that means that place in New Jersey that got 35 inches.
Hmm.
So you folks, if you're watching in that vicinity, you expect only about 16 or 17. For New York, got about 18 inches, maybe only about 9. I got about 18 inches, so I should only get about 9. Only, he says.
Yeah. No, I know.
And where's Samara Mott?
I was just about. I was just miss. There's a few of them that are missing it. There's a few of the winners over crowd that are missing in action on the board tonight.
You
So
realize
and
if this
have
comes
been.
to fruition, if this one comes to fruition on Sunday, I get my 40 inches that I've been saying,
No,
yelling.
I know.
I didn't expect to get it this soon, but it's
Exactly.
crazy, crazy.
I
And
know,
Jim Wood
Joe.
last night sent me an email. Jim was our guest in December, and he sends me an email. He says, "Hey, did you see the GFS this afternoon and this evening? They've got a big potential storm." He's looking way ahead, like on the 12th or 13th of February. I mean, he could totally bypass
I
this
know.
thing.
Oh, good Lord. Um, I'm trying to fix this logo while you're talking. So, all right, Leo, let's get to it, Joe. Let's take a look at what's going on. First off, uh, we'll run through some current weather. And by the way, before we do that, I'm sorry, I did the OmniTrueValue.com commercial. I'm sorry.
Yes, you
Uh,
did.
so we still have winter storm warnings up around the Great Lakes, and also some leftover blizzard warnings still in central Iowa, and a number of winter weather advisories. So that continues. And I know the maps aren't up yet. I'm putting them up in one second here. Um, you can't see them. By the way, folks out there watching, I know they're on the chat board. Just let me know if the audio for Joe and I sound good, particularly Joe, because I had to fool around with some of the audio settings and I wasn't able to give it a good test. So if you could do that for me, that would be very good. Stop doing that, Joe. Stop doing that. Talk like a normal person. So there's your winter storm warnings that are up in and around the Great Lakes. We also have a bunch of winter storm warnings up in Montana and various watches and advisories there with another weather system that's coming into play. In the meantime, we are also looking at the satellite right now, and now we've got this system coming in for tomorrow, Joe. This is a cold front, and I think there might be, somebody might wind up with a little burst of snow out of this, but I think that should be it. And then maybe a couple of rain or snow showers on either side, and that'll be it, and the front will just move along. But remember, this storm is important because it actually sets the table for all the energy that you see coming into the Pacific Northwest and on up in the Northern Rockies, because this is all going to be part of the equation with regards to Saturday and Sunday.
Joe, I can't take this anymore. I mean, just leave right now.
Why?
I got to make sure. I got to make sure that my because we used the snow blower 3 times for this last storm. I got to make sure I have enough gas now between now and Sunday.
Well, you got to check it. But as far as this, and make sure you got your gas tank filled up. But what I just said about this being it's just a simple cold front is pretty much what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
unless you're
Yeah.
thinking differently.
No. It's this is just the appetizer, I guess, before the next main course on Sunday, right?
That's correct. And other than that,
Congratulations! I see we have our sponsors
yeah,
name on the.
I fixed it.
Yeah.
Yes, the Omni logo is up there. So ahead of it, we had a nice day today. We finally got rid of this. The upper low is still spinning to the northeast. You can see it there, but at least we put some distance between it and the next system. So we were able to generate a nice day. The radar right now, seeing snows, a large area of snow actually moved through Wisconsin and Illinois and now into Michigan. And of course, there are some rain showers ahead of it. You can see there's like a little bit of a warm front here that's setting up with a band of snow. And as far as the local radar centered on New York City, going down to Virginia, seeing a little precip now coming in to West Virginia, some freezing rain also in parts of West Virginia, but there's nothing close by, so we should be good for most of the night.
Oh, there we go. I'm sorry, Joe.
That's all right.
I did. No, this is going to be a minimal event. Maybe a little bit of wet snow or even a touch of sleet at the very beginning for places like up here, but it should go right over to rain. Hey, we got to 40 here in Putnam Valley. We got to 41 degrees today, and it was just so nice. I guess you're so used to what we had at the beginning of the week, Monday and Tuesday. That this afternoon the sun was out. It was up near 40 or 41. It was. I would. People probably were dancing in the streets.
Yeah, no, and we did get a little bit of a snow melt here. By the way, just a quick, I want to give a thank you to Chris A, Jason Kaplan, and Steve Lapointe, all hitting super chat tonight. Thank you very much. We are 5 likes short of 100. So if you could get us over the 100 mark, that would be a terrific thing. And you, of course, could do that by subscribing to my YouTube channel with your Gmail account, and you'll get notifications every time we do a live stream, which lately seems to be almost every night. So WPC, Joe, updated their forecast. Very interesting. They updated their forecast late this afternoon, and they have now put a half to 3/4 of an inch of liquid running from about Philadelphia to New York City to Western Connecticut, and then 3/4 of an inch to an inch of liquid in southern and coastal and southern New Jersey, and maybe even touching eastern Long Island, up into southeast Connecticut, Rhode Island, and also through southeastern Massachusetts around Cape Cod and the islands. So they're starting to consider the idea that this thing is backing westward and showing more in the way of moisture. So when these forecasts, this was updated at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So I assume that they got a good look at the entire model cycle run of this morning and input that into the forecast. So it doesn't look too shabby here in terms of what I saw afterwards. Meanwhile, we could see a lot of moisture around the Great Lakes, most of that being snow on the order of half an inch to as much as an inch and a half in some places. And we've got pockets of heavy precip up in the northern Rockies and into the Pacific Northwest. And of course, with those winter storm warnings up in Montana, you can see why with all that moisture that is being produced. The WPC on their long range, they took it out and now they put it back in this afternoon. They have a 10 to 30% chance of at least 3 inches, 2 to 3 inches from southeast Virginia right up the coastal plain. So this is going to be this is going to be a situation where the heaviest snow is going to fall closer to the coast, and you'll have lesser amounts as you go inland. And I imagine that if the trend on the models continues overnight, you're going to see these numbers getting beefed up, and it's going to be inside the 72-hour range anyway. So let's go right to the NAM model, because this was the one that started to go bonkers today with this southern system. And I wanted to point out, this was all really about the short wave in the southern stream in the north overwhelming it and just kind of, flattening it out. Well, when I looked at this afternoon and saw that this trough has definite definition here. The northern shortwave is sharper, the southern shortwave is sharper, and if you watch the NAM as it carries it northeastward and lifts that trough up, it almost phases with it. You still see an identifiable southern feature, and it just lifts on up to the northeast. And I think that's why the NAM did what it did with this rather aggressive look to it for Saturday and Sunday.
I'm kind of amazed at the fact that, considering what the NAM is showing and what the other models are indicating or suggesting, that over at WPC, the folks in the winter weather department didn't put more of an aggressive look on the potential for snow accumulations in not just our area, but throughout a good part of the mid-Atlantic and Northeast for Sunday. You look at their forecast, Joe, and they don't even have very much suggested for Sunday and Sunday evening. I would assume they're going to update later tonight or tomorrow, but right now it almost looks like they didn't even look at the models, the NAM and the other models, with that push back to the coast and the potential of any significant precipitation.
Yeah, well, they'll play catch up. I just want to explain something. So, Daemonian Brewster, I can't see the end of your name but I did read your message about why does it matter if you use Weather Channel names, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'll tell you why it matters, because that's their brand, and Joe and I are not really interested in promoting their brand on our channel, just as the Weather Channel is probably not interested in promoting the Joe and Joe Weather Channel brand on their channel. So, and you could tell us names of winter storms. We wouldn't know what you're talking about, because I don't even watch the Weather Channel. I don't think Joe does watch it much either. So it sort of falls on empty ears with me when I see it. You're referencing a winter storm name. I don't know what winter storm you're talking about. So So we would prefer that you just didn't do that. Okay, thank you. Now here's a look at the surface based on the surface. As soon as the circle of death is starting, it stops turning. Well, here's our front for tomorrow, and you can see it's offshore. I don't know what's going on here, but apparently everybody's going in there now to look at the NAM, and it's taking forever to load the
It's our
maps.
fault. They heard me going, ah!
The wheel of death on tropical tidbits. Now here's our front for tomorrow, and you see there's some rain and snow showers with it as it goes on by. Again, some areas get a burst. It's a little bit more in upstate New York, a coating to a couple of inches in some places. That goes out. The southern part of the trough, the southern part of the front gets hung up in the Gulf states. The energy that swings in that southern branch picks it up. And now you suddenly, by the time we get to Saturday evening, we've got a fairly large area of snow in central and eastern Tennessee, western North Carolina, and even some snow and sleet in northern Georgia, western Virginia, and just watch it blossom. As that trough sharpens and lifts up to the northeast, you suddenly have actually a fairly wrapped up surface low there, Joe, just east of Wallops Island. Snow Sunday morning in New Jersey, Long Island, on up western Connecticut, even all the way up to almost I-90 on the NAM. And the darker blue snows are usually moderate snows, I would imagine. And the low takes a track right to the 40-70 benchmark, and you can see it just keeps on going. This is not going to get hung up. It's not going to stall. So it actually, in some way, Joe, it makes the forecast a lot easier because you're only looking at one thing. I mean, you're just watching the speed go by, and I mean, you watch it go by. You can figure out the precip, how much precip you're going to get. It's a bit easier to figure out because you don't have those bands as like you did with the storm from the other day. So it does make the forecast a little easier from our standpoint.
I think it does. And I also think the one thing that was frustrating about the last storm was the fact that it was so slow, the upper low catching up with the surface system, the whole complex becoming what we call in the weather business vertical, which made it slow down even more, idle in neutral gear, as I use the term. This whatever we get on Sunday and Sunday night, at least the one thing in our favor is progression. This thing does not look like it's going to stop for a while. There's nothing blocking it out ahead of it. So that's the good point. But the thing that confuses me, Joe, is why maybe they're just waiting. They being the forecasters, waiting for one more run to finally bite the bullet and say this looks like it could be a significant storm, because a lot of the forecasts that I've seen now from National Weather Service, for example, just simply calling for cloudy on Sunday, chance of snow showers in the morning, partly sunny, maybe some snow or even rain showers in the afternoon. I'm quoting now for the Hudson Valley, the Albany forecast. I'm scratching my head saying, really? You think that's going to be the story on Sunday based upon what the NAM and
Albany's always, they're always the last ones to put when there's warnings going out for all the areas surrounding, and they're going to be part of it. They're always the last ones to put it out. The maps, the digital maps, they're always missing because they send their forecast out so darn late sometimes. So I don't know. I honestly I didn't even get a chance to. I really didn't even look at what the local offices were doing. I've got your FGen map up, so maybe if you could explain what you look for to everybody and what the FGen is, and we can follow it along. Now we'll start it. You can see the area that forms that dark purple from northern South Carolina, northern Georgia, Saturday afternoon, northern Alabama. So FGen means frontogenesis.
Correct.
Okay.
And the area that you see, the contours.
So that would be, which are very tight. That's that whole area in there.
Right. It's atmospheric energy. I'm going to have to get something to drink, Joe. So talk for a minute or so.
Okay. Well, we can follow the FGen along, the frontogenesis, and as this moves up northward, you can see how impressive it is. All those, if you look at the FGen that's up in northern Illinois, you can actually see all the contours. That's not too shabby an area of frontogenesis going on, but this is really impressive. So basically, you kind of have a wall here, and it's along that boundary zone that you're going to wind up with some of your heaviest weather with regards to precipitation and regards to the strength of that precipitation, the volume of that precipitation. And watching this move northward through Sunday morning, it moves right over southern New Jersey and up into northern Virginia, and then it just parks itself right over Long Island and northern New Jersey. And you notice it stops lifting northward at this point. So if you want to make an argument here, uh, where it stops moving northward because it sits there for about 6 hours, that would at least imply, in the world according to the NAM, that there's going to be an east-west band of heavy snow inside that area of FGen or frontogenesis uh,
Right, right.
at that hour.
Or,
Joe,
or as it's also called, Omega. And you're right. It actually doesn't seem like it's stopping. It just seems like it's actually broadening. It's getting wider, that
yes,
that zone.
but
And
it gets over us. It gets over our area sometime right around daybreak, and of course you see it come up the areas further south. But it starts to stretch and then slide east, which means that that whole area in there is going to be sitting under that for about 6 hours before it finally gets out, which is not until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So somebody's going to get hammered if that winds up verifying in terms of snowfall.
that's true. And notice, if you will, Joe, that before that main band comes in, that there's a smaller, less significant band out ahead of it. That's kind of like
Right
what we
there,
just saw.
right here.
Yeah, yeah,
That area there. This is the main area.
right,
So
right.
that's probably running into the drier air that's overhead, just like what we. You're right, just like what we just saw.
It's almost like deja vu.
Yes, all over again. So
Now, if I remember correctly, the 3 kilometer NAM was also suggestive, although not quite as robust. The lines were not quite as tightly packed
right.
on the 3 kilometer
Well,
as
the
opposed to
three
the
only
4.
goes out to 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, it gets right, 60 hours. So you
Right,
need
but
another,
even here, look what it looks like at 1 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't really look that much different. It's just at 1 a.m. Um,
right,
it's northern Virginia to southern New Jersey that's getting into it. So we actually will be in range of the 3 kilometer NAM come tomorrow. So we'll
right,
have tomorrow. We'll be in the range. The whole run. The run will take us through the whole storm tomorrow night. So we'll have a good feel because the 3 kilometer was rather useful in this last event. The GFS, we could take a look at that. The late afternoon GFS also coming deeper and a little bit further to the northwest. It's a little less developed than the NAM is, but it still has the same idea. But again, just a little bit less developed. But I see, Joe. The way I'm looking at this is that the NAM has got the lead here, and the models are basically one run behind. So it might take, if the NAM is correct, I think you're going to see it's taking the GFS, the European, an extra run to get to where the NAM, get closer to where the NAM is. I should say that the earlier parallel GFS, because we didn't, it stopped running again for 18Z. I was dying to see it, but the parallel GFS has been is much closer to the NAM than it is to the regular GFS and the European. So and it was one of the first to move back also. So I would have liked to have seen it late this afternoon to see if that trend continued, but I think we're going to wind up with something. Something is definitely going to happen with respect to Sunday. And the other thing I want to point out, I don't know if you looked beyond Sunday, just in terms of the overall pattern, but I wonder we may be we seem to be going into a place that's about as opposite as it could be to January,
right.
where we not only are going to turn very cold, but the pattern aloft looks kind of dynamic to me, and I think we may have some chances here during next week. Maybe there's a weak system early in the week, and then there's one that's stronger for later in the week. There's a lot of cold air that's going to be trying to come down from Canada in this pattern that's set up. So look at this next trough that swings eastward with this very deep upper low into the western lakes by the end of next week. And the GFS has done it for several runs here where it's taking something of importance and bringing it up the coast for later next week. And it did it again today. Looks
Well,
like
the
a
climate, if you remember yesterday, the Climate Prediction Center, I pointed out for both the 6 to 10 and the 8 to 14 day outlook for much of the eastern United States was all in brown, indicating below normal precipitation. And all of a sudden now that has changed. In 24 hours, they have now brought above normal precipitation up through the mid Atlantic and beyond that, near normal precipitation. In other words, the idea or concept that we were going to go through the next 2 weeks bone dry, cold and bone dry, has suddenly gone out the window. And it looks like now, as you said, Joe, things are changing toward a more active, a more dynamic type of weather pattern with more than a few chances of some of the white stuff over the next week or two. So,
right.
yeah, about as opposite to January as you could possibly get.
So this was my early call, and originally as I was looking at things this afternoon, I was tossing 3 to 6 and 4 to 8 in my head as sort of a top zone to start off with. And then I decided, you know what? Why don't I just do it a 4 or more? And again, because of the kind of system that this is, uh, and not dealing with an upper low, and not dealing with banding, and not dealing with, as you said, with systems becoming vertical, it really sort of becomes more of like of a straight line in terms of accumulation amount. Uh, so from say south of Route 78 in New Jersey, including Long Island, southeastern Massachusetts, southernmost Connecticut, maybe. Best chances for 4+ going down through New Jersey into Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. And then you see the amounts lowered. Now, I can tell you that this is an early call, so that when we get to Saturday, that where that 2 is could very well be a 4, and where the 4 is could very well be a 6 or even an 8. So bear in mind that this is subject to change. This is an early call based on what I'm looking at right now, and I don't change my early calls until it's time to do a final call. I don't flip things back and forth from run to run. So I'm just gonna just sort of leave it alone. I'm thinking you probably are gonna wait till tomorrow maybe to throw something up.
Tomorrow, Saturday, maybe I might wait until Tuesday.
Yeah, that's been suggested by many folks from time to time
Uh,
that we should.
uh,
I don't quite understand it. Our job is to forecast, so why would we wait until the day of? One of the impractical problems with that is that then we have to fend questions from uh, some of the same people who tell us that we shouldn't be putting out snow accumulations at all. To why aren't we giving you a flake count five? Why aren't you giving me a perfect flake count 5 days in advance? So the way I respond to it is now it's like it's my show, and I've been doing this for 40
do anything you
years.
want.
I do what I want.
Yep.
Exactly. I do what I want. You do what you want. Joe and I do what we want, and that's just what we do. And if you got a problem with it, start your own show. I don't know what else to tell you.
I
I
hate to
don't
tell you
know.
this.
I don't know what
I
else
hate,
to say.
I hate to tell you this, but there are a lot of people out there who just might take you up on that and start their own
Start your
show.
own show. You don't. It
Yeah.
doesn't take much. Get a YouTube. You get yourself a YouTube channel, and you can do it too. So, and then have at it. Have fun. Have lots of fun. So I don't know. I don't know. What do you think of my early call? I
Well, I'm
felt
glad that
comfortable enough to do it today.
you got my house basically on the trace the 2 inch line. I'll take that at this moment if that's all I'm going to have to worry about.
Well,
Uh,
if the NAM is right, it's going to be
the
those
NAM's
amounts are
right.
going to
Forget about
easily be doubled, if not more.
forget about it. The NAM's right. I'll be digging out from 8 to 10 on Monday morning. Um,
We're just a couple of inches shy of the average for the entire season. As long as we get that and go over now, I'm good with that's it. Everything else after that is gravy.
Yeah,
And like
well,
you said, there's a chance, there is a chance that we could get enough to take it up to toward that 40-inch mark, for a
well,
season total. If not from Sunday, with whatever other systems are coming down the road for next week. But then again, winter is over, as I've been told many times by some people. Winter's been over. It's never good. I actually remember, Joe. I had somebody actually say to me that it was never going to snow ever again for the rest of the winter. This was back in mid-January. I just and we go through this every year. People, they say the same things. The snow lovers just say the same things. The weenies, they throw themselves off the highest building because it's not snowing every day. It's just amazing to me. It's hilarious, actually. So
again, I hate to keep bringing this up. I just don't understand. Isn't there anything called coordination going on? The Weather Service in Albany, the National Weather Service in Albany, is calling for clouds on Sunday, then becoming partly cloudy, and a chance of showers of wet snow or rain, Joe.
for you,
Meanwhile, the National Weather Service in New York City. I wish we had Bill Goodman here. Maybe he could explain this logic. Mostly cloudy in the morning, then becoming partly sunny, but a 50% chance of snow. Where's the snow supposed to
that's
happen?
that weird. The wording in that weird digital forecast sometimes is. I love when it says rain from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., then rain and snow from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., then
Yeah,
snow and rain from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., then freezing rain and sleet changing to snow between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m., and then right after they write all of that for the entire day, they'll write on the bottom uh, uh, little or no accumulation.
right, right. That's what they're saying about tomorrow. Little or no accumulation. Now, watch out. We wake up in the morning tomorrow up here,
Listen,
and we
don't be
got the model
shocked.
saying, well, what the heck is that? 2 inches?
Well, sometimes with these warm fronts, you get a bit of surprise, and suddenly you got a coating to an inch or two in some places.
Oh, yeah.
It's happened before. There have been many busted forecasts for missing one of those types of weather systems going by. So, I mean, other than that, at this point, why don't you, Joe, pull up the European? Let's pull up the new European, the in between run, and
Okay.
you share it on the screen. I'll make sure you can.
Okay.
Let me turn the screen share on for you.
Yes.
By the way, I assume the audio is good because nobody's put on the chat board that the audio is not good. So I'm hoping that's the case because we're
Now,
40 minutes into this show.
what would you prefer? Would you prefer the Northeast sector or just the entire United
No, I'll
States?
put the Northeast. Just do the Northeast one.
Okay. So let me see. Get here. Share the screen. Boom. Share. There you go. And
Uh,
we'll start with 0Z Friday, which is 7 o'clock, which is already passed. That's the initialized
that's 7 o'clock tonight. Yes.
right. That's it was initialized at 18Z, but this is the first. This is 7 o'clock. 540 line is just about on top of New York City, and we move things along here. And you can see that by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, we are in the zone where anywhere from 1/100th to 3/100th of an inch of precip. Notice the position of the 540 line. It's north of our area, which would seem to suggest that if anything happens at that hour tomorrow, Joe, it's more likely to be in the form of either very wet snow or maybe sleet or maybe just a mixture of rain and rain and snow. Um, it's a lot, it's a lot warmer upstairs as opposed to downstairs. Then as we get to 18Z tomorrow or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we see a broad area of, it looks like anywhere from 5/100ths of an inch to almost a tenth of an inch of moisture, just a lot of light stuff. You see the green arc is for anything more than, let's say, 0.15 inches, but that's well north from about Syracuse on up into across the border into Ontario, Canada. And then that goes away, and then we clear out, and it looks nice and dry and no problems for Saturday. And then we start watching for Sunday. Well, on Sunday, as of 7 a.m., nothing at all in northern New Jersey, Long Island, Hudson Valley, New York City.
Okay.
But you notice that down here we do have a broad area of, let's say, 0.15 to 0.20 inch precipitation. That would be, it looks like mainly rain, because the 540 is here across the central Delmarva area. We're below 540. We're actually looking like we're like at 533 or 532 thickness. Now, here's the magic. Let's see what happens at 72 hours. That would be
My guess is it's flatter on this run. But
it's 1 o'clock Sunday. Ooh, well,
well, I mean, it does have the steady precip up to almost to Long Island and southern New Jersey at 1 o'clock. It looks like it may be a shade further south from the prior run, but not by much.
and then
And
it
remember, the European here has been, has kind of been the laggard. So, but at least we know that it doesn't look too much different from what the earlier run did. And
I mean, it would suggest that we'll get something.
yeah.
It won't be a dry day, but it looks like that this run wants to keep the lion's share. Well, we don't even see anybody in the immediate area getting into the green, which would be 0.15 or greater. And of course, you can see that big wad of orange and purple and lavender about 200 miles southeast of New York City. So that's where all the fun is, according to
All right.
the.
Well,
Euro-
look, the European. This is the in between run, and we don't notice any kind of discernible trend from the prior run. So we'll just have to wait and see what the next run brings us. Maybe it's a little a shade south and east. I'll be curious to see what the NAM does in about an hour or so if it continues. I can't believe it would come in more amped up than it did at the 18Z run. So my thinking is it'll probably be a little less amped up, but still north and west of all the other models, and then we'll see what the overnights do. So again, I'm kind of happy with my early call, and then we'll see where it goes from there. Uh, I wish the parallel was working. Let me just check it. Maybe they got it. Sometimes it gets stuck. Nope. It came out the 6 and the 12-hour parallel came out, and that's all that came out today of the late afternoon parallel GFS. I saw Mike Leona on the chat board there. Heart to you, Michael. Okay, heart to you. And
And apparently, Alaska Railroad is watching us from a plane, Joe.
is he really? That's so
He said that,
cool.
he said that earlier, and yeah. And my wife just said, Alaska, you're on a plane watching? Why is it that every time that Renata talks to Alaska Railroad, there's always like flowers? Flirting with my wife
Well,
here?
oh, save you the trouble.
Alaska Railroad says, yes, I am, Mrs. Rayo. We're having a good time watching the Joes. People say they're humorous. I say, yup.
Well, you're very kind. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Okay, so I think that pretty much wraps it up tonight. There's not a whole lot more that we can say about what's happening, but eyes on the next run, the next model cycle, and we'll see what that brings us, and whether the early call will need to be adjusted higher or lower.
It's like the old Price is Right, the one with Bill Cullen. Higher, higher.
Higher.
Oh,
Oh, the world we live in.
yes.
Okay, the Joe and Joe Weather Show, again, brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware, where you can get everything you need to get you through whatever winter sends our way in the next couple of weeks. Maybe sending some more snow, we'll see. 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon. 631-756-1125 is the telephone number. The website is omnitruevalue.com. Support your local businesses, please, during this time. And also, they in the event that there is going to be more winter weather here for Sunday, they will be probably opening for special hours, and as soon as I know, I will pass that information along to you, or you can call them at 631-756-1125 to get that information. Okay, so normally we take Friday off, so maybe we won't take tomorrow night off. What do you think?
I have a feeling it would be better if we don't take Friday off.
Okay, and then we probably won't take Saturday off either.
Oh, are you talking about one of those weekends?
Well, it could be, but I'll tell you this: if we're on for if we're going to be on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, then we are definitely not going to be on next Monday. I can tell you right now. I don't care
I'm
what's
gonna,
happening next week.
ah,
Joe and I need a day, so
we do.
we may take it next Monday then. All
We
right, so
do.
we'll see everybody tomorrow. Thanks all for being here tonight, and thank you for checking the audio for me. Everybody said the audio sounded fine, so
And thank
I'm
you.
happy about that.
189 likes, Joe.
Yes. Oh, and on the super chats tonight, Chris A, Jason Kaplan, Steve Lapointe, Izzy D, and Mahogany. Haven't seen you in a while, Mahogany 2680. Thank you all for hitting super chat, and stay safe, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Nighty night. Yes.